Well, ladies and gentlemen, everything we're going to talk about on this episode could be fixed. Problems resolved, gone away, if we had just one thing: term limits. It'll fix it, I promise. Hang on for the ride.
Okay, recorded live right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's time again for Larry's Rant, Raves, and Reviews. And now back to Larry.
Well, let's start off with talking about Texas, Randy.
Yeah, they down there doing it.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Well, they're trying to. You know, they're doing, folks, what they call state redistricting, which is the process.
They're wanting to.
Yeah, they're wanting to. It's the process of redrawing the boundaries of electoral districts within a state to ensure each district has roughly equal population. Usually this is done after the U.S. Census every 10 years. Now, here's the goal. The goal is, in principle, is fair representation, but in practice, it can be influenced by politics.
Sure.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Now, when it's manipulated for advantage, that's what we call gerrymandering, and that's when it comes in. Mm-hmm. Now, these are phrases that I've heard all my life, but thank God for AI, and because I am self-confessed that I didn't pay that close of attention in class, history class, or anything else.
I wish they had AI back when I was in school.
Oh, yeah. You know, now they're trying to figure out how in the world to keep all these students from using it, because the professors and the teachers are saying, you know, these kids, they're using AI on all of their stuff.
Can't tell.
Yeah, it's really causing some problems.
I used it twice this last week on 2 letters. And let me tell you, I'm the world's worst in writing letters.
Yeah.
You know that.
You're the world's worst at writing text.
Yeah, I know it. But you read one of those letters, it's pretty good.
I love you, Randy, but man, sometimes your text, you're like, what is he even trying to say?
Probably because I'm driving.
Gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is when politicians redraw the voting districts to give their side an unfair election advantage, often creating bizarrely shaped maps to weaken the opposing party's power.
Okay.
Okay, so have you...
What did you just say?
What did I just say? Well, let me try it this way. Gerrymandering is the deliberate manipulation of voting district boundaries by those in power to give their political party or group an unfair advantage in elections. If you've ever looked at a map, and I'd like to actually sit down and look at a map of Arkansas, because I don't know what ours even looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But
it's pretty square.
You know, if all the Texans, all the liberal commie dimmies down there had not done what they done, we probably wouldn't see some of the things that they've opened up a can of worms that I don't think that they knew they were opening up. Okay?
Yeah.
When they ran out of the state, most of them ran to Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen a picture of the Illinois district maps? Oh my gosh.
No.
They've got one that the state, you know, they show it in red, and they've got this blue, almost kind of looks like Florida upside down. But I'm telling you, it's drawn down. It's like a number 7 backwards.
Wow.
Of how they've drawn it.
Oh, we want this county, but we don't want those county. We want this and that.
Exactly.
They should have just picked and choose whatever county they wanted instead of drawing it.
Well, instead of districts being drawn to fairly represent communities, they do these odd shapes that's unnatural, and they do it because they want to pack opponents, voters, into small number of districts, okay? Uh-huh. Or to crack opponents' votes across many districts so they have little influence. Now, I found this out, thank God again for AI, but gerrymandering is named after an 1912 political cartoon marking a Massachusetts district shaped like a salamander under Governor Eldridge Gary. Therefore, you get the gerrymandering. So it really comes down to these. What Texas is trying to do is not illegal. It's not anything that somebody needs to really complain about. All they're trying to do is redistrict, because as populations change and as, you know, they have to redo this so that everything remains fair.
Right.
But instead of doing this, different states, and I've got some notes here, some numbers that I think will make sense to people. Republican Brian Harrison, who's a member of the Texas House of Representatives in District 10, he's a Republican. Mm-hmm. He's been blowing up X, and he's been on all kinds of the newscast and everything. MSDNC says that maps should mirror voting percentages. Okay. So he said, I went and pulled the numbers. Well, here's how some of the numbers come together. In California, now some people won't even realize this, but GOP is 40% of the vote.
Okay.
And yet they only get 17% of the seats in the House. 40% of the vote is only represented by 17% of the representatives.
Okay.
Massachusetts, 35% is GOP. Guess how many seats they have? Zero.
Figures.
Yeah. Connecticut, 38%. 0 seats.
Good grief.
New York is 42% GOP. They only get 26%. Maryland, 38% GOP. They get 12%.
Wow.
New Mexico, here's a good one. New Mexico, 44% of the voters is registered and they vote GOP.
Yeah.
0 seats.
Isn't that crazy?
So you never hear any of the commie liberal Democrats complaining about this until Texas wants to do it and they're trying to add 5 seats, representatives, by redistricting.
Uh-huh.
What Texas is trying to do is not illegal. They're not trying to do something shady. What they're trying to do is make it fair and balanced.
Right.
And that's all that we're asking for in our voting systems, right?
Every state should do that.
Well, maybe it's time for a change in the laws to maintain some fairness.
I think Arkansas is pretty much just squared up, isn't it? Have you seen that map?
I have not seen the map, but I promise you I'm going to go look at it. So these crazy Texans, these liberal commies, they all jumped on a plane, and most of them went to Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, California, New York. Speaking of New York, okay, on Fox News on Sunday, 3 years ago, New York drew up a map for gerrymandering, and the states, it was so bad. Now, Kathy Holcomb, the governor, helped to draw this up and was pitching it, and it was so bad that the Liberal Court of Appeals threw it out.
Yeah.
Threw it out. And she said, Martha McCallum said, well, they threw it out because you didn't follow the rules. No, we did follow the rules. Well, but the court said you didn't follow the rules. Well, Kathy Holcomb said, well, no, you didn't. Or yes, we did. You see, our voting system is so rigged, it's so horrible by all the commie Dems. They've corrupted for years, stolen elections for years.
Uh-huh.
So they're now calling this the Holcomb Mander because her last 2 illegal and unconstitutional attempts to gerrymander district were thrown out, and again by a by a liberal court. That's how bad it was.
Good
Even the
grief.
liberals are saying, my gosh, this is too wrong. Okay? So you're showing me a map here of Arkansas, and I don't know that's...
Isn't that it?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And I'm not
It's, you see the smaller one in the middle, but all
Right.
a lot of the people are there.
And where we're seeing a lot of the pink and the green, if you will, most of our population lives in the gold and in the light blue,
Right.
and so much of that pink and the green is farmland. I'm
Sure.
assuming that it looks
Right.
fairly fair to me.
Right.
Okay. So, the problem of it is Texas, all these liberals, they jumped up and hopped on a private plane. Well, who paid for that plane? We all started asking that question when it first happened a week or two ago. Who paid for it?
I heard it's $500 a day for each of them to be gone,
It's a fine. Yes. Mm-hmm. It sure is.
and they can't pay the fine from their federal box or whatever you want to call
Right.
it. They got to pay it out of their pocket.
Right. And I'm waiting to see how much of this is really enforced, because that is the law. It needs to be enforced. That's the problem, Randy. So many of us Americans have is the fact that we see the laws being broken, but there are no penalties. There's no handcuffs. There's no leg shackles. There's no jail time.
Well, I've asked for weeks, where's the handcuffs? Everybody talks all this. Where is the mug shots? Where is that?
I don't understand
The
it.
only one I've seen is Trump's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we got something coming around the corner. They say, we're getting ready to prosecute. We're getting ready to see the. Well, and I understand we're only 6 months into his term. Okay, 200 days or whatever. I understand that, but man, I'm ready to see some handcuffs. I will throw a party when I start seeing handcuffs come out, and some of these crazy politicians,
Yeah.
get in handcuffed and go to jail. So what we have found out is Beto O'Rourke's PAC paid for this. He's the one that paid for the private jet for them to go jump on. And, O'Rourke, I mean, he's run for everything possible and lost everything in Texas. I think the only thing he hasn't run for is dog catcher. Mm-hmm. And yet he jumped at the chance to suck up to these Democrats. And the problem of it is he flew all of them to Illinois, California, New York. And as you were saying, the state lawmakers in Texas make about $7,200 a year. That's all they make.
Really?
$7,200 a year.
Good grief.
Yet they jump on this private thing. Now, the O'Rourke's PAC is powered by the people. The Texas Tribune said that don't worry, they've got plenty of money. They've got a $3.5 million war chest.
Huh.
Now, what he might not have known, or probably did, but thinks, well, they're not going to do anything about it anyway, is that since he was the walkout financier, that could land him in some real legal problems. And I hope it does. Mm-hmm. I hope that they do everything they can. And again, yes, it is $500 a day fine. And Paxton, the attorney general there in Texas, said that the rogue Democrat legislatures who fled the state have abandoned their duties, leaving their seats vacant. And then he went on to say, these cowards deliberately sabotaged the constitutional process and violated the oath they swore to uphold. He's asked the Supreme Court to step in and declare their offices vacant. Now, the governor threatened that, but they found out the governor doesn't have the power to do that, but he could be given that, and the House, the state could do that themselves. Huh. Texas Governor Abbott said that they broke some horrible laws here. He said that he's going to call special session after special session until the new congressional map is passed. He said, this is his quote, I'll call special session after session for years if I have to, Only cowards run to blue states.
Sure.
And yes, it is a $500 a day fine. And the lawmaker's office budget was slashed because all of them get special privileges and budgets and staff and all. They've cut off. There is no direct paycheck until they come in person. They're no longer direct depositing.
Right. I saw that.
Yep. So that's going to help out. So they're revoking that, and they have to appear in person in order to get their paycheck. But if you got O'Rourke with, what did I say, 32 million or something, what do they care?
Yeah.
He's got plenty of money. Well, the FBI has agreed to aid the search in Texas Democrats who fled redistricting session. John Cornyn, which I don't like John Cornyn, he's nothing more than a rhino. I don't like him at all. Okay, he acts like he's all in favor of the FBI coming in and helping these people, and he wants to play, oh, I'm such a fan of Trump and different ones. He wants to play all that mess, but he's just a rhino at heart. They are going after the Democrat ringleader on this. It says Abbott claimed that Wu, the Texas House Democrat caucus chair, led the walkout for more than 50 Democrats, and he's going after him. And I got to tell you, these commie Democrats are only worried about not being able to steal elections in the future. That's what it's all about, folks. Texas is not doing anything illegal. They're not looking to do anything wrong. They're not gerrymandering. They're redistricting, which is constitutional. And so many of the states, some of them that we talked about, need to be done and done properly. So let's take a look. There's three people I want to talk about just real briefly about. Let's take a look at who's talking about this. First one, is our buddy Jasmine Crockett. Man, she is spiraling full-blown out of control. She's having a meltdown over this whole thing. She's nothing more than a loudmouth far left who's made headlines for her unhinged outburst and grandstanding. She's found herself on the outside looking in. Do you know that with this redistricting, she no longer has a district?
Oh, she's going to lose it.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
That's one way to get rid of her.
She doesn't even reside in the district that she currently represents. And, of course, she says that these changes are racially motivated. Oh, yeah, let's play the race card.
Right.
Let's play the race card because that's what it's all about. Oh, and Texas is targeting the seats that are held by black Democrats. But yet when you see all the pictures, they're not all black people. It has nothing to do with race. She says this is a hot mess. These people don't have any integrity, and what they're doing is not right. All they're trying to do, she said in one expo, she said, let's be clear, these maps are not representation. It's a power grab to silence voters and suppress votes. Well, then she opened up on that, and guess what? A couple of her people jumped out and said, you know what? We don't like Jasmine Crockett. Her staff,
Yeah.
they say all she does is want to come into the office and scream at us. She works from her private apartment that's just blocks away. She could walk to her office,
Right.
but she refuses.
Good grief.
You know what she does? She won't take an Uber. She won't take a taxi. She's good to walk a couple of blocks. But she demands that they rent a black Cadillac Escalade.
Sure. Come get me.
Her staff member drives it, pulls up, and anytime she gets in or out, they have to hop out, stand there like some kind of a limousine driver.
Open the door.
Open the door. She gets in, they close it, and they said she's nothing more than a foul mouth. I can't even use the word that I really want to. All she does is scream. They say she's lazy, she's rude. it's her staff is turning on her.
Wow.
Well, Jasmine, this is what kind of comes home to roost. You have become the new, what's the lady out in California? I've talked about it before. I'm having a senior moment. Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters.
You've become the new Maxine Waters, and you thought it was cute. You thought it was funny. You can dance and do your thing all up and down the halls and act unprofessional, act like you're not even a representative. But I got to tell you, you have really screwed up. But she says, well, my staff says that she's lazy and rude because they're racist and sexist. Well, who hired these people? So in other words, Jasmine, you're admitting that you hire racist and you hire sexist people? It's either that or the fact that they're telling the truth, that it's the fact that you're lazy. I guess she lays around. They say the only time she comes into office or goes anywhere is when the cameras are rolling.
Sure.
When the cameras are rolling, she comes running and wants to get in there.
There you go.
Well, here's another one that's jumped out. James Carville. Remember James Carville?
Yep.
He helped put Bill Clinton in office. During a recent podcast appearance, longtime Democrat strategist James Carville, get this, Randy, suggested that the next time Democrats are in power, they should add more states and pack the U.S. Supreme Court in order to save democracy. Now, if that makes sense to you, you're probably a liberal. He wants to add 2 states. I'm scratching my head going, well, what are we going to add?
Yeah.
He goes on to suggest that they add Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia as states. Then he wants to expand the Supreme Court to 13 members. He actually went on a podcast and said that.
Well, we ought to go ahead and do it now. If we're going to do it, let's go ahead and do it now so Trump can appoint them.
Well, but I don't think that we want to act like... Don't take James Carville advice, please. Okay, here's one more that weighed in on the subject, and then we're going to wrap up. Barack Hussein Obama, America's biggest mistake. He says that he's proud of all of these flea baggers that went, he didn't say that, but I did, that went to Illinois and New York, and he wants to thank them for hosting them. He said that Democrats stay focused on the GOP's so-called power grab. He said all of this on X, and then X started blowing up. He says, we can't lose focus on what matters right now. Hussein wrote on X, Republicans in Texas are trying to gerrymander district lines to unfairly win 5 seats in next year's midterms. This is a power grab that undermines our democracy. As if you even know what democracy is all about, Hussein. You're a piece of garbage. Biggest mistake that America ever made. And then I'm telling you that X started blowing up. I can't even read some of the things, but they had some things about him and Big Mike on there that I had to laugh at some of them. Oh, Illinois, one person put on there, Illinois is the official home of gerrymandering. Folks, if you don't know what I'm saying, what you really need to do is go and look at a map. Go ask Google or some AI chat to show you a picture of their districts. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll say with wrapping up on that, and then I got one other thing, and then we can close. Democrats are really not a political party. They're a criminal organization siding with illegals, terrorists, and sexual predators.
That's about right.
That's what I think. That's what I think about these communist Democrats. But, folks, you say, well, Larry, all you do is get on that podcast and bash Democrats. Well, let me be an equal opportunity offender.
Yeah.
Here's something that's dear to our heart, Randy. How many recess appointments do you think that Trump will get?
Probably none.
Absolutely none.
Because you told me earlier they was ain't going to get any.
Senate Rhino leader John Thune is making sure of it. Why? Because they're going to do what is called, the U.S. Senate will hold pro forma sessions every 3 days. They will gavel in, and then they'll gavel out, and they're going to do this through the August recess. Mm-hmm. And that way, they come in and out, gaveling in and out, and Trump cannot do what all other presidents have been able to do, and that is to have recess appointments. He could have taken all of his appointments and just, bam, got them all done and taken care of. But Rhino leader John Thune, who I've just got to say is McConnell 2.0.
Yeah.
Seriously. He's no better. He is no better than McConnell. In fact, you knew for a fact that McConnell hated America, hated the Republican Party, and hated President Trump. Mm-hmm. But Thune, he likes to hide it. Folks, I don't know if you know this, but I did a little research. Do you know that the August recess, quote unquote, went into law in 1970?
Okay.
That they could take a recess.
Right.
It started in 1971. Do you know why? Because the Senate didn't have air conditioning.
Oh my gosh. Really?
They said it was too hot.
So that's why.
I swear to God. Go ask AI, because I'm like, surely this cannot be true.
That's the truth then.
Absolutely.
That's almost good as TikTok. That's better than TikTok.
I introduced my grandson over July the 4th, our beach trip. Uh-huh. I said, James, you need to start using AI for your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And use it.
Yes.
So I signed him up with his parents' permission. What is that? AGT chat or whatever that I use all the time. Uh-huh. Dear God. On the way home, he was riding in the back seat and he goes, Papa, AI is my new best friend.
Well, sure. Sure.
So yes, I did confirm this. They actually started this August recess because there was no air conditioning.
Good grief.
Now, secondary, and this is what they'll tell you, that they wanted to do it so they could come back and spend time back in their state and their district talking to their voters, their constituents. Well, that's a line of bull. How many of you have ever had one of your representatives or senators walk up to you and start talking to you? Mm-mm. No. At best, you may be invited to a fundraiser at $5,000 to $10,000 per plate. But this is going to keep Donald Trump. Okay? So, folks, let me tell you, I don't think any more of the Republicans than I do the Democrats. The Democrats are communists. They hate America and hate everything that our Christian Judeo system is all about. And they're very open about it. But these rhinos, on the other hand, want to hide behind the Republican Party. Boy, I got to tell you, the Republicans need to do a better job before they let people run. I can tell them that. So I think that the entire GOP leadership is a complete joke. Mike Johnson sent Congress on a 30-day plus vacation.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Randy, that America is in such sad shape that every one of those people should say, hey, screw vacation, screw everything. We've got to put our, what's the old saying, nose to the grindstone
Right.
and make things happen for America.
They ain't going to do it.
Even if you hate Trump, don't do it for Trump, do it for America. Don't you think that would, and don't you think that would be smart to do? But
Sounds like it, but they ain't going to do it.
well, when Thune was standing there saying that he's going to do this, there's a picture, and I should have gotten it and had you put it up, but I didn't. But Murkowski and Collins were sitting behind him, behind Thune, when he was talking about this, and the smirk and the smile that they had on their face, because they hate Trump.
Yeah.
And they hate America. They're rhinos. At least a Democrat will look at you and say, yeah, I hate everything about the Bible. I hate everything about America. I hate everything about the Christian Judeo system. I hate this. I hate that. But Republicans, they just sit there and lie to your face. Well, folks, I wish I had a more exciting note to end on, but there you go. So at least I got my point across that the communists, they call them Democrats, and the rhinos, they call them Republicans. They're not much better. But I started the show with this, and I'll end with this. Both of these matters, everything that we've talked about on this show, could be fixed. Could be fixed with term limits.
Right.
I'll say it again. 2 terms, 2 4-year terms, let them in back to back, and then you're out. If we had term limits in America, we would not be in the shape that we are today. Think about it, folks. Come back and see us next episode.